Okay. I'd like to call this afternoon's meeting of the Orange County Transportation Council Planning Committee meeting to order. We'll start off with introductions. I'm going to ask for in-person roll call, please. If everyone would please state their full name and affiliation as we go around the room. That would be greatly appreciated. We'll start by going around the table. I'm Alan Sorensen, Orange County Commissioner of Planning, MPO Director for OCTC.
Robert Geralman, Town Supervisor of the Town of Blooming Grove.
Lisa Blumso, Assistant City Engineer, New York City Mayor. Caitlin Holt with New York State Department of Transportation.
Jacob DeLeo, Commissioner of Public Works, City of Middletown.
Tony Cardone, Interim Village Manager in Walton.
Chris Fair, Orange County Planning Department.
Rain Twill, Orange County Planning Department.
Rob Harrington, Orange County Planning Department.
Jessica Sutton, Orange County Planning Department.
Michael Weeks, City Engineer, City of Port Jervis.
Anna Gordon, Orange County Planning Department.
Sean, what was
So,
Sure. County DPW.
Sophia,
Herblitz, Green Peterson, also known as GPI. Aaron Barnes, Orange Pathways Representative with Corey Burke.
Bob Reynolds, Village of Montgomery Planning.
Sophia Romano, Village of Montgomery Planning.
Okay, I'm going to ask, we'll start with the on-call participation roll call in a moment. I'm going to ask Raina to lead that for us.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for the preemptive introduction as well. For the online roll call, I'm just going to start with our federal and state partners on the call. For NISDOT, we have Mark Kirk and Sandra Johnson, I see is on with us. As well. Go ahead, Sandra.
Just hello to everyone.
Hi, Sandra. New York State Thruway Authority, do we have anyone from NYSTA on the call? All right, for the MTA, I know Tiana's here. Hello, Tiana Grimes, as well as Andy Butler. And I think I saw Olu as well sign in.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. For
Alan Parsons, MTA.
Thank you, Valen. Say that. Yeah.
Josh Schneider as well, MTA. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. And then anyone for FHWA? FTA? The New York State Bridge Authority? Port Authority, I believe I saw Jay Shoefield signing in. And then lastly, we also have just a general roll call. I have Jim Brogan. Jim, if you could just state your affiliation into the chat or now.
Sure thing. I'm a Transpo group.
Thank you, Jim. Excellent. We have Naomi Klein joining us on the call as well as Corey.
I'm with Creighton Manning.
Thank you for that, Naomi. We have Corey McAllister joining us. Thank you. We have Steve Bedetti joining us, as well as I have a Sophia 13 Pro. Sophia, I know you spoke before. Could you just state your name and affiliation one more time again into the chat, just so we can have for the record?
Sophia Romano, Village of Montgomery Planning, and I was on 2 comprehensive plans with Alan in the past years.
How you doing, Sophia?
Hi, Alan. Thank you for the invite.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to it.
And if I missed anyone, please feel free to drop your name and affiliation again.
Bert Thielander, Pathways, Vision Hudson Valley.
Thank you, Bert. And that concludes our online.
Okay.
Roll call, Alan.
Just note for the record that Jesse Dwyer has joined us and also Gedalia Segedin.
Welcome.
Are there any members of the public or someone not previously mentioned that would wish to comment?
I would, Bert Thielander.
Okay, Bert.
So I've spoken with Orange County Transportation Council in the past, and I just want to highlight a few positive things and a couple of requests. One is the Parks and Trail New York group that recently put out a study about the economic, recreational, health, and other benefits of the Empire State Trail. We shared that with Alan and Travis of Parks. It really has a lot of evidence about the value of trails, which we're trying to promote with OCTC. And also recently there was a Parks Greenways Public Satisfaction Survey that was facilitated also by the Parks and Trail New York group that 1,500 people were surveyed, displaying a lot of satisfaction about trails, non-motorized. So we just wanted to share that with the OCTC. And then we have a meeting, a couple of Pathways members, has a meeting with a Senator Skoufis staff person in about a week, and we're going to speak with him about the funding for the Camp LaGuardia Y. I know that the Shenandoah Trail is in the works to be constructed. That's going to connect with the Heritage Trail, so we're going to try to promote that with Skoufis and seek funding. We had at the last OCTC meeting, we had a suggestion about camera use. We had another meeting about that. And we would want to we really want to support perhaps a pilot project to purchase cameras that can be used for valid, reliable measurement of trail use. So thank you for listening to that. And my final request is related to the Open Space Institute has a west of Hudson, Port Jervis to Kingston rail trail proposal. There are two abutments in the Neversink Valley Area Museum that would lend themselves to buying a prefabricated bridge that could be a component of that. So we'd like to ask you folks to take a look at that. I talked about that with Travis. Thank you very much.
Bert, thank you. Are there any other members of the public that wish to be heard?
Yes.
Oh, yes, Brian.
Thank you so much. On the old business item, the Route 17 Mobility and Access Improvement Project, I understand that for a long time, things seem to be a little bit stalled, but they seem to be getting underway again, which is wonderful. We always want to see improvements, but in particular, as this proceeds through regulatory, permitting, public comments, and other processes, I want to encourage the OCTC and any other stakeholders to vocally support two particular efforts.
Okay.
First, to identify opportunities to leverage planned improvement to enhance accessibility for county residents and visitors with disabilities that are going to rely on public transportation that will use the improved segments of 17. And then also to identify success standards or other metrics to evaluate both the implementation of any of those enhancements, as well as the actual effectuation of enhanced accessibility. Sort of a meta-analysis there.
Okay.
And of course, I also want to say a big thank you. We're always a welcoming and receptive group here, and I appreciate the opportunity to comment. Thanks so much.
Brian, thank you. Those are both very important points. I know we have later in the presentation, a representative from DOT will be speaking about the access mobility study, giving us a brief update. So I'm sure they're listening, and we'll encourage them to incorporate this.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public that wish to be heard? If not, that'll be the end of the call for citizen participation. Going to ask next that for the approval of the meeting minutes from our June 25th, 2026 meeting. These were previously included in your material packets. I'll ask for a motion to accept the meeting minutes, or if there's any questions or concerns, please advise. Jacob?
I'll make a motion.
Second, Jesse, okay. No discussion, all members in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Okay. Gonna move on to communications and announcements. Does anyone have any communications or announcements they would like to share with the planning committee at this time? Okay. We'll keep moving along then. On to reports and actions on old business. Just to give you an update, the Orange County on-call RFP has been posted for bids. This week, county personnel posted an addendum responding to quite a number of questions that were raised by potential officers. The RFP timeline has been updated to the following. So the addendums will actually be issued, I think, today. Done. Proposals will be due September 8th. Interviews on or about September 21st, and then contract award on or about the week of September 28th. So this is our long effort to get in place an on-call transportation consultant, which will then allow us to initiate a series of task order to get a number of the transportation corridor studies that we've had planned underway. So we're getting ever closer, so we're making progress there. The schedule for the bus procurement RFP, we received, I think most of you know that project went out to bid. Law department deemed the first responses to be non-responsive, so we had to go back and publish it again. We received a large number of questions, like over 150 questions from responders that were that has led to the need to push back the bid submission date to October 15th. We're working diligently with law to respond to all the questions, but we weren't anticipating that many questions considering that it was pretty much the same RCO that was sent out the first time, but apparently there's more interest. So we have to follow those guidelines. So Minutes Valley TMA is in the process of finalizing its draft of the congestion management process update. MPO staff has provided comments and responses in early August. The document will be finalized later this year. And just want to provide a quick update that the department has recently added 2 new staff members. Jessica Sutton over here, sitting next to Ron, who will be joining us as our new fiscal manager. Jessica comes to us with extensive experience, both the public and private sector, and was most recently with the county payroll department. So Jessica, welcome. Additionally, Jalissa Ocasio, who just completed a summer internship with the department, transportation unit, has accepted an offer to become a planner trainee, and she'll be starting with the department on August 17th. She's in a break between the end of her internship and her start date, but we're very happy to have them both on the team as we prepare for many projects and studies to get underway, especially under this new on-call transportation consultant. With that,
Alan, can I just ask you to go in a little more detail on the on-call transportation consultant?
Sure.
What is that available to all of the towns, and how will that work? Who gets priority? How will we have access to that individual?
If there are, the department will administer the on-call. And in the RFP, there are a number of transportation corridor studies that are identified in the UPWP that are priorities to get off the ground. Route 17, Route 17 M, Route 6 transportation corridor study. There's a truck bypass study for Montgomery that's in the pipeline. But also within there, we know there are local intersections or traffic segments within each of your communities that are in need of study. So one of the items that we have in there will provide an opportunity for council members to reach out to us to say, you know, we have this particular road segment in our town or village that we want to study further, and then we can task the transportation on-call consultant to work on that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
The locations that you said sound like they would take years to complete for an individual. So I'm just wondering how realistic it will be that, you know, let's say in any one of the towns and villages, we had an intersection that we wanted to study through this process. Is it something that could be done realistically within a year? Or because you have your
Yeah.
priorities, right? You have your major intersection priorities.
Yeah,
Just wondering, it is, because it's funny, I was contacted by one of my local mayors saying that they had an intersection and it's truly, as I'm sure everybody has one, that is just an absolute nightmare of an intersection.
Yes, yeah.
One of the things I was gonna ask you after the meeting, what's the best approach to really tackle this intersection? And then you just said that, and I'm like, that's a great approach, but realistically, I'm just thinking it's gonna be at the bottom of the list for this person to really tackle.
not really. The firms that will be responding, this is a large, this is a large project for any of the firms that are out there. We suspect that most of the firms are going to team up just to be able to respond to this because there's a lot of work there. There's literally millions of dollars of work that's in a backlog. So any of the firms that respond are going to have to demonstrate that they have the capacity to take on multiple projects at a time. So the transportation corridor studies, they're going to be their own project that will, those will probably take a year and a half. But concurrently, we'll be doing other consulting work with the transportation on-call consulting. Because it's not going to be, I suspect it's not going to be just one firm. It's going to be teams of firms. And so if the primary firm is not able to take it on themselves, they're going to be able to assign it to one of the other team members to take on that task.
Okay.
So, but it's a good question. I do feel like within a year, that's certainly a reasonable time frame. I think for the first few months, our primary focus has to be to get these, long pending transportation corridor studies off the ground. But I think once we do that, we'll get into a rhythm. The advantage, though, with this on-call is we request of the consultant that ultimately wins the bid to come back to us with a task order, and then we can engage them to pursue that project as opposed to going out for an RFP for every specific project.
Good.
So
That sounds great.
yeah, it's
Alan, how would that be funded? Say that we have an intersection, say in city of Middletown, or Denise, if she was here, she's going to say Wilson Avenue and James B. Kelly Way or 70. How is the funding for this study going to be done? Through Orange County?
it's being funded through the Unified Planning Work Program, so the UPWP.
So funding is going to be coming through you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
And they'll go ahead and plan the entire intersection and consult on, or just consult on it?
We need to keep in mind, because these are Unified Planning Work Program funding, we can't get into detailed design. We can only do conceptual design.
Okay.
Yes.
But it all starts with the project first being listed on the UPW.
Yes.
The project that is not listed, for example, his project that you referred to, if it's not listed, then it's not eligible for a study.
It'll be eligible. We have one of the UPW projects is this intersection analyses that's in there. I can't think of the exact title.
We call it, I believe, a
Cooperative.
cooperative community program or planning.
Yeah. Yeah. So within that cooperative community planning program, there'll be the opportunity, we reach out to Chris and I, and we will, and then you'll bring it back to the committee, and then we'll select projects then to do to assign a task to conduct that study. So there'll be.
Are the studies limited to projects that have the classification of federal eligible, or it could be studies of non-federal eligible intersections as well?
I want to double check that. I do believe we have a little flexibility there.
As long as Jesse can go back and tell him it's gonna get done in a year, we're all happy.
No, it's funny. It seems like the answer, right? He was asking me, what can we do to really evaluate this intersection? And I said, I don't know. It's a great question. I'll bring it to the committee. And then you say this, and that's the answer. Whether it gets selected, that'll be up to the board. And I'm sure now that you say this, every one of us is going to go back and start, wheels are going to be moving and say, which intersection do we present? And then the next question will be how do you choose? How do we evaluate rank? Because we've got to prioritize them. We've got limited resources to do this, and how do we do that? And like you said, You know, is it based on a classification of the roadway? Is it based on fatalities of an intersection and accidents of an intersection? What will really, you know, establish that criteria of selection?
I think we started to work on that with Stacy in terms of selection criteria, so we'll have to report back to the committee on that, but we'll get some type of framework in place. And I do appreciate everyone's patience because I know it took us a while to come to the conclusion that this on-call was the solution rather than trying to do like 10 different RFPs. Because there's a lot of work, and then this is going to allow us to be a little more nimble too. So if something unforeseen comes up, you know, through the cooperative community planning, we may very well just be able to assign it to the transportation on-call.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. You know, and obviously we have time to really develop this plan, but, you know, let us know what you need from us to help guide this through.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Any other members wish to provide updates?
Village is in the process of finishing up one of the major projects. I don't have the PIN number, but the project that includes reconstruction of County Route 44 and Bakertown Road. We're now in the final stages. There is going to be some overrun when all the change orders are reviewed and approved and signed off. We are considering, we do have another tip listed for the Village of Curtis Joel. So we do, we're considering transferring some money from the unbuilt tip to the tip that is being completed in order to make sure we have the monies to cover some of the overruns. Not sure what the process for that is going to be. We're going to need to consult with DOT because we did submit an IPP for the second project with the specific dollar amount. Now we're going to be deducting or reducing that dollar amount because we're short in the first one, unless somebody is going to announce that there's some leftover money, so we don't need to use our own tip to make this transfer. So we're going to be submitting something to the committee for consideration.
Gennady, thank you for that update. Okay, this afternoon, I'm going to go on to the next item, which is the New York State Route 17 Mobility and Access Improvement Project. We have on the call with us Mark Crook, who's with New York State DOT. And Mark, if you're ready, I'll ask you to provide us with a brief update.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, good news. In May of this year, we submitted our draft environmental impact statement to FHWA New York Division. Subsequent to that, they have provided us some feedback and comments, and we are currently in the process of resolving those comments with FHWA New York Division, and we hope to get that report back to them this month. Subsequent to that, you know, they'll obviously take a look at it again. You know, they'll probably have more comments, and then they will send it to FHWA headquarters in Washington, and they do their rounds of legal sufficiency reviews. And it's my understanding at least 2 reviews they will do. With that, we're going to have it'll be released to the public in the spring of 2027. There'll be a 45-day comment period, and everybody will get a chance to make comments on the draft EIS. And we will take those comments into consideration, select a preferred alternative, and hopefully by the end of 2027 or early 2028, we'll have a record of decision on that EIS.
Okay.
Is this committee part of the public and it's going to wait until the spring of 2027? or we get an advantage of seeing it a little before the public season?
Gedalia, you're going to have to wait till the spring.
That's a good question.
Unless I file a FOIL with a federal agency that already has it.
Yeah. You can certainly do that.
Mark,
I know that exit 122 was picked out of the bag and done independently as its construction is ongoing right now. Is there a possibility for other components to be picked out before the entirety of the corridor is studied and completed, similar to exit 122?
Well, your history is a little wrong with exit 122. What happened at exit 122 was when it was the eastbound section was completed, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. We ran out of money, so we didn't go back to do the westbound. Funding became available, and now we went back to complete the westbound section of 122. So that's the history of that interchange. But to your point, we did identify a couple of interchanges as early action items where we wouldn't need to require right of way, something more simpler, straightforward. So we are looking at two interchanges, exit 114 in Mamakating and exit 126. Those are two interchanges so that if everything goes well and we get a record of decision in early 2028, we can quickly mobilize and go to final design and do those two interchanges because there'll be uh, no right of way. Right of way slows down the process. It takes 12 months or more to acquire right of way, but without right of way, we can quickly go to a bid opening.
So is this project now already at the stage that you have determined right-of-way issues?
Yeah, we've established a highway boundary along the entire corridor. Yes.
Is that something that this committee could put their eyes on?
If you'd like to see existing conditions with the highway boundary, yeah, that I think that's something we could share with you.
It's not only
Okay.
existing conditions, you're determined that any future impact will require right-of-way. So I would love to see who the property owners, at least in the Curtis Joel vicinity, are. And maybe we could expedite that portion as well to have that joined together with 126 and 114. But I could only respond to that if I see the right-of-ways that are potentially required. I know the village of Curtis Joel, for example, owns property where your right-of-way is needed, and the village could donate that property beforehand without causing this delay for the right-of-way process or the blue folders that the state is using for right-of-ways. But with seeing it, there's no way for us to analyze it.
No, I could share the existing highway boundary with you, but like I said, the right of way, whether you donate it or not, the process is the same. We have to make maps. The maps have to go, to our appraisers. So regardless of whether it's a donation or we pay you, the process is the same. So I don't think there's any time savings there.
If the right-of-way process for DOT is the same for municipalities, I believe donations that are made before the engineer's report is filed, like pre-project, does not need to go through appraisers if there's a donation. So I'm interested in the right-of-ways between exit 130 and 131.
The Forest Road connector.
And the Forest Road connector.
Yep, that's in there.
Well, the entirety of between 130 and 131, even the opponents of this corridor project agree that 130 to 131 needs an extra lane. So what are the right-of-way requirements for that segment? And if I could be of any help getting those right-of-ways in place, before the process. I would try to push for it to be accelerated, same as exit 114 and 126.
Understood.
Very good. Any other questions? Mark, thank you for being on with us today. And anything else you want to highlight, or is that pretty much it?
No, that's it. Keep your fingers crossed.
Oh.
It's a 30-mile corridor, and it's a monster of EIS, and it'll cure your insomnia.
Mark, just were you on before when Brian spoke regarding ADA? Yes. So just as you that you take that into consideration as they're making any final revisions or enhancements to the DEIS.
Right. Most definitely. And Alan, we met with you recently to share with you some of the connections to the Heritage Trail.
Yes.
So yeah, it's all coming together. Yep.
Mark, does exit 114 and 126, will it have to come before this committee for a vote to allocate the funding?
Yeah, funding. It's my understanding. My understanding. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sandra.
This is Sandra on the phone. Yeah, all projects that utilize federal aid will need to be on the put on the OCTC tip and then the STIP.
And that means that it's going to have to come to this committee for a vote.
Correct.
Okay. We'll keep your feet to the fire, Mark.
Very good. And again, Mark, thank you for taking time with us this afternoon.
Sure thing.
All right, I'm gonna move on then. Since our last meeting, OCTC staff has taken several steps to move the process along for the update of the 2025 functional classification change request. Chris has taken the lead on this with me. We've investigated each change request individually following several updates from DOT. Our conclusion is that each of the change requests is warranted. We worked with Dan Burkowski of Labella Consulting on behalf of KJ to review the feasibility of the proposed functional classification upgrades. And at this stage, all the changes appear to be feasible. The next steps include identifying staff for the Town of Monroe, Town of Woodbury, Village of Woodbury, Town of Blooming Grove, and the Village of South Blooming Grove to review the impacts of the proposed changes. And if the municipalities support the changes in their jurisdiction, we will collect the necessary materials and submit the change request to DOT. The original request,
I think that it's only the Town of Monroe and the Village of Woodbury and the Town of Woodbury. I don't know we didn't request any changes to any of the South Blooming Grove or Blooming Grove streets or roads.
I think there is
in the package with all of the different forms filled out for each one, the municipalities that are impacted are identified, and there were impacts to South Blooming Grove and the Town of Blooming Grove. So we can look into those a little bit later.
That may be related to the County Route 44 that cuts through Gonzaga property.
That may be it.
But that's okay. That we just pointed that out that road is actually closed. There is no such road. There used to be a road that cut through Gonzaga property, but the county, as part of the Gonzaga development, closed off that road completely, and it stayed on the list for some reason. So that's something that you need to work out with your DPW department.
Chris, let's
But
just make a note of that.
any updates that we're looking for is basically Monroe and Woodbury.
So, Gedalia, our recommendation, just to the original request was 10 requests kind of bundled together. After we meet with the municipality, we may these in batches, just to get it, to keep the process moving forward.
So there's one that you already acknowledged that that was an error.
Yeah.
And that was fixed, which is good. And then there's the majority of them are strictly in our municipality without impacting Monroe and Woodbury. So there, I think there are 2 or 3 roads that.
Yeah, we could get those in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the ones that are not in Monroe and Woodbury, there's nothing holding it up. That could move forward. There's no reason, since you're bundling it anyway, there's no reason to prolong the process that is not reliant or not dependent on Monroe and Woodbury's vote.
So the further that we got into it, it looks like from each of the municipalities that's impacted, we're going to need a signed resolution and a letter of concurrence. We're working that out exactly what that's going to look like, but we do already have at least the resolution drafted. We're probably going to need to get that from the village of Erie Stroll as well as all the other ones. But Dan's in the loop on it. We've been communicating this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Next, we'd like to continue our discussion on the voting membership. And I'm going to ask Chris to provide a presentation to continue our discussion on voting membership. And Alex, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. We'll just take a second to pull it up. Good. Thank you. All right, so for this presentation, we'll recap our slides from last time and then discuss our staff recommendations. Keep in mind, we're ultimately working to inform and update to the OCTC operating procedures. So a quick recap of our current structure. We have 7 permanent voting members that you can see in the column on the left, as well as 8 voting members, the ones on the right, for a total of 15, meaning that we need 8 members present to reach quorum. And here's the map of our existing structure. As far as our proposed structure that we discussed last time, we're looking to change to 11 permanent voting members. A lot of them stay the same, but we would be adding municipalities with 30,000 residents as permanent voting members, and then 8 rotating voting members for each of the 5 areas that we're creating. So this totals 19 voting members, meaning that our quorum goes up to 10. But let's take a look at the different geographic areas that are represented. You can see that some efforts were made to balance population and plan according to some of our major corridors. Sorry, what? Oh yeah. One change from last time is we noticed that the village of Florida was grouped into the wrong area. Now you can see it's been updated so that it's a part of Warwick and is included in the southwestern area. It didn't impact our populations at all because our populations are built off of towns, the villages we're joining.
I see, yeah.
And then this is just a breakdown of all of the municipalities into their respective areas, and the ones that are in bold are our permanent voting members. So that's all recap. This next slide is a reminder of some of our existing operating procedures. So I'll highlight this first one. No village shall be a voting member of the council during the same term as the town or towns in which that village is located. So basically, a town is a voting member, none of the villages that are within it can also become a voting member. For some of the towns that are becoming permanent voting members, I would just note that the villages that exist within them will never become a voting member. But the town could ultimately represent their interests. Additionally, we just pulled this out to highlight if a voting representative fails to attend 3 meetings in a calendar year, the chairman will write a letter as applicable to the voting member and request that those represented by the absentee representative appoint another representative. So,
Yeah, can you just grammar in that first bold statement? I'm having a hard time understanding.
sure. Ultimately, what we're getting at is if a town is a voting member, none of the villages that are within it can become a voting member during that term.
Right, no, I understand, but read the grammar and tell me if the last part of the sentence makes any sense.
Term same term, yes. Tony, are you suggesting we should say town?
Well, I'm looking at it, it says, as the town or towns in which that village is located, maybe and is a voting member of the council.
Oh, okay. And okay, located and is a okay.
Well, we can take note of that if this is likely how it reads in our operating procedures currently, but we're ultimately informing an update to our operating procedures in this particular area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about one thing that I would say? So I have 3 villages in my town. I very much plan to be a part of this committee, but say I'm not here and we get a supervisor that's disinterested in attending. Town of Warwick is a permanent member. Will there be an opportunity for a village mayor to be the voting representative on behalf of the town? Just as you have, I think our current bylaws have changed a little bit, allow some flexibility of having.
I think that's an interesting.
Just a unique thing in towns. It's like Montgomery. Well, Montgomery won't be a permanent member, but the town of Warwick will. And what you're saying is that no village within the town can be a voting member while you're a permanent member. And then let's say you get some disinterested town supervisor in Warwick. Now Warwick and its 3 villages as a permanent member just became, we're still a permanent member taking up a voting seat, but nobody shows up. That's what I want to avoid.
So
just a thought, if it's too complicated, we don't have to do it. I don't expect that to happen.
Send the letter after 3 days and then ask
But you could even appoint your engineer, so why wouldn't you be able to appoint a mayor?
Within your village, right? It can be specific to permanent towns. Newburgh doesn't apply, they don't have any villages. Wallkill doesn't have any village, really just only applies to Warwick, because we have 3 villages. And we will become a permanent member if this moves forward.
If he doesn't show up, they would send a letter, right? After we don't show
Yeah, you'll get a letter
up.
from
So that would go to him, to that supervisor and his town board.
Right, but town of Warwick is a permanent member. It's not like, Montgomery, where we can just say, Montgomery doesn't show up, give somebody else a shot to be their voting member.
But they have 3 villages also.
But you could appoint.
Right. Can I appoint a proxy? Can the town board appoint a proxy of a village mayor who is not?
You could appoint your engineer.
Yes.
So why wouldn't you be able to appoint a mayor?
Okay.
You could appoint anybody.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
The town board would have to appoint the proxy.
The village of Waltham appointed only as.
Yeah.
That's not. Okay. So that should solve it then, right?
Yeah. If there's, I think it will solve it.
Okay.
Yeah. After 3 months, you'll get a letter.
So it's because we used to have the situation where it had to be either the town supervisor, mayor for the proxy, right, or a town board member. I thought we changed it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a designee.
So designate.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be a problem.
It's your designee. You could choose a mayor.
Okay.
It's not disqualified just because he's mayor.
I can choose you to vote on my behalf too.
No, because you can't have.
You can't.
One person can't have 2 votes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're good. So
Yeah.
as long as I can appoint a mayor, village trustee.
Yeah, you could.
the town board rather can appoint.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's the
so
city of
that,
Middletown, Jesse.
Yeah, you're gonna.
They do it all the time. They do it all the time.
Conflict.
Let me tell you, the mayor really does it.
so,
Does it all the
That's
time.
true, Rob and I are the only elected officials on the board, but we're, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
so that said, if you go back to that list, I don't know how it's affected, but the village of Harriman, which is in the east central area, is in two municipalities. They're in the town of Woodbury and the town of Monroe.
I was just gonna ask that question. So that answered.
It's actually, it is.
It's in two
two
towns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
It's pretty complicated.
yeah,
So yeah, they're gonna be challenged. Although I think that is,
Well, it's still in the eastern central area.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
yeah, but,
there's still,
but are they, let's say Village of Woodbury appoints them as proxy and the town of Monroe appoints them as proxy. Not that they have,
one person can't have two votes.
okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, that was prominent past, as I understand it.
Yes.
So I won't go any further than that.
We'll try that with me, so.
I mean, I do think.
Yeah.
Me to represent multiple towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate your presence for Port Jervis.
Very much. Thank you, Mike.
For Port Jervis.
Thank you, Mike.
You hiding all the other ones?
Okay,
We'll keep moving through.
great.
Unless you had more thoughts before we move on.
I want us. Let's continue through this presentation and then at the end, I'm hoping to get consensus on it.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris?
Sure. So based on what we've heard, these are our staff proposed updates. And this is ultimately what we would take back after this meeting if approved and revise our operating procedures with. So this first bullet, voting members must confirm their attendance at least 48 hours prior to meeting via email, including designating a proxy if they need to. And if we do not confirm quorum 24 hours prior, a cancellation notice would be issued. This is to get ahead of, everybody coming together for a meeting and then us not reaching quorum and not being able to work against that.
So, I'm sorry, you expect us to send you an email saying that we're coming to a meeting?
Yeah, 2 days prior. Because,
It's gonna be, yeah, go ahead.
well, it just 7 days prior, we send out our official notice of the meeting and all of the links to the meeting materials. So ideally, following that, the town would have a few days to respond. The municipality would have a few days to respond and let us know that they are going to be present or not.
All right, so the point is, you would be initiating the request for us to see if we're coming to the meeting or not.
Yeah, well,
It will be part of your overall email that you sent to us with the agenda, then
sure.
part of it will be, please respond to indicate your intention to attend the meeting or not.
For voting members.
I just want it to be initiated from you rather than from us. If you wait for us to initiate
do
that,
that.
you're not gonna get anything from us.
I think you're including it in your email now, right, to kind of respond if you're going to attend.
No, for quorum, I think this is different. This is, I think, more emphasis because you want to have a quorum, right?
Yeah, that is the idea.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so if you can emphasize that for us in bold or something like that, please, I would appreciate that personally.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I think that makes
You
sense.
have to make a co-payment if you don't show up.
Maybe just put a link that says yes or no in attendance.
Yeah, we can finish that.
Right?
Yeah, and if they can't attend, to sign a proxy so that, and it's going to be critical when we have a policy board meeting, where we have to vote on things. So it's rare, but we've had one or two instances where we all gathered and didn't have a quorum. So you want to avoid that. Chris, continue on.
Sure. Okay, so second proposed update, introducing written ballots. This is taken from Dutchess Transportation Council. So written ballots done electronically or by paper will become a method for OCTC staff to poll policy board members on urgent or unforeseen items without the need for in-person attendance. So this drives at avoiding
emergency meetings for things that pop up or that we realize the deadline is sooner than we anticipated and we want time.
Yeah, we don't want that to become a common practice, but it's there in case of an emergency.
But if it's there and if it happens, if you can follow up with a phone call or something rather than just emails.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
yeah.
tell you, I have million emails sitting there unopened, and then many of them sure they're important that I have people in my office reviewing them, and we still can't get through them honestly.
Sure.
So a follow-up phone call would be very, very helpful for something that are important.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think, yeah, that'll be perfectly fine, especially since we're like, this will come with some form of urgency on our behalf.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we'll be following up with our members.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Our next bullet sort of solidifies everything that we've discussed to this point about the areas changing in voting membership. This would be municipalities of 30,000 residents or more become permanent voting members. It would form the 5 different areas, which would have 8 rotating members selected. 2 for the East Central, 2 for the Hudson River, 2 for the Northern, and then 1 for Southwestern and West Central. The difference between some having 2 and some having 1 is by this format, each area would have 3 representatives.
Yeah.
And lastly, the policy board in-person quorum would change from 8 to 10.
So we think this is a better representation of the county and the council, both the geographic breakout and also ensuring that the municipalities with very large populations of 30,000 or more have a permanent voting seat on the council. We have gone through this over several meetings, so I'm hoping that we have consensus to move forward with these operating procedures updates. And if we have consensus, Chris and I will move forward over between now and the next meeting to get these in place for your consideration.
Yeah, and just following up on that, looking ahead, if we do, if these are approved by consensus, following this meeting, we'll draft the amendments to, or our updates to the operating procedures. We would review them in our planning committee meeting on October 8th, reach consensus on them to be posted for a 45-day public comment period. Look to have them approved at the policy board meeting in December, and then ultimately they could changes could go into effect at the beginning of next year.
And this timeline really lines up well with the voting membership because the terms end December 31st. So if we can get all this in place and stay to the schedule, all the new voting members will be assigned effective January 1st. And Jacob?
Yeah, good question. My concern again for the quorum, we've been struggling in the past to have even eight members here. I don't see any problem with increasing membership, the voting members to 11. But is it possible, or is there legal reason why do they have to be 10 for a quorum? Can we keep it at 8?
It has to be a majority of the membership. So that's why.
So you got.
So we go 19
Yeah,
members.
Gotta be more than 50%.
So we can't go back to the 8. That's the only thing that's bothering me with this is having enough people here, because I don't want to be paralyzed, this committee to get paralyzed because we don't have enough room. But it happened to us in the past million times. I mean, years before even Alan.
Yeah.
Million
I
times.
appreciate
No, for real. No. So for real, it's a real problem in there, and sometimes you lose interest. You know, we got everybody motivated here, and this is great, but it doesn't happen like that. I remember days when we couldn't have anybody.
But the email that you're gonna get that people are attending would help that out.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and you'll have some additional voting members.
no, I understand that. Well, that's why you raised the minimum quorum, and that's what's my concern. But that's it. We can move forward. That's my only concern.
Unless you had that up to 2 voting members could be virtual. Because we always have MTA and 2-way authority virtual. almost never a participating person. So if we permit that, then they can be counted as part of the quorum.
Well, who are the two you're gonna?
What I just said. NTA, all the way authority. They're always virtual.
So they
anyway.
don't vote.
Well, we might as well have the benefit of them permitted to vote if we allow it to the.
Well, then you gotta give everybody the opportunity to vote for it.
Oh, we've got like up to 2 people, so they're always up to 2.
Yeah, but what happens if somebody
I
from
think-
Blooming Grove can't come, but he can come virtually?
What I would recommend is that if we know a day out that we're short 1 or 2 members who cannot attend for whatever reason, that might be an instance where we exercise the right to let them do the written ballot. And then they would submit their vote. You know, again, I really want to use that as extenuating circumstances because I think there's great value in having everyone around the table, those who can attend. But I think that would be, it's clearly going to be an emergency if we have to vote on something that has to be approved at the meeting and we're short of a quorum. So that's what I would ask that we consider.
Is it fair to ask for through an MTA to appoint one of the county OCTC staffers as a proxy? It's religious.
I can, I'll reach out.
You need the governor to make.
That's a
Yeah, it's, I don't think we can answer that question here, but I can reach out and make a request.
On a case by case basis.
Yeah.
2 nurse members,
Proxy.
2 nurse members of the department.
Yes, true. I will reach out. But with that, because I got to ask the question, is there consensus for Chris and I to move forward with the revisions?
And put it in a resolution form.
Well,
You need to do a red line version also, so we could see how it looks in the operating procedures.
We will do that. We will definitely do that. So I'll just ask for a show of hand. All those in favor, just say aye.
I just want to make sure because Denise is not here. Obviously, she's been involved. I think she's going to be here.
Okay.
There will be plenty of time for changes and, you're looking for consensus to further solidify the plan, correct?
Yeah, we'll send it out in advance.
You're not looking to vote on it in September?
So they're looking to vote on December 3rd.
Right, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
plenty of time for Denise to share concerns and anybody else.
Yeah. But we are looking to get it out on October 8th. We would like to get this out for public review.
Yeah.
It has to be 45 days. So we'll have it drafted. The changes aren't that extensive. We'll have a red line version that we'll share as soon as possible with the committee. And if you have comments, please don't wait till the meeting to give us.
I'm good with it. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
that-
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
So back to a show of hands.
show of hands. Okay.
A lot of obviously hard work went into it from the county. Yeah, they've been working on it very hard. They tried to cover every angle as much as possible and make it as fair as possible.
Yeah.
Which we really appreciate that. Good
Oh,
job.
no,
boys.
You're welcome. Chris, good job. Okay, I think let's see, ready to move on to new business.
I was gonna say what happened with Monroe Movie Grove over there now.
Yeah, we're already now, 27. Okay.
So, first item under new business is the New York State Group Transit Asset Management, the TAM plan update. And for that, I'm going to ask our senior transit planner, Rob Harrington, to lead us in a discussion. Rob?
The transit asset management plan became it's federally required. It became, it was required to be in a plan in 2018 was the first year of it. It's required to be updated every 4 years. Excuse me, due to the number of subrecipients we have, it was our interpretation at that time that the county needed its own plan. We completed it on time in 2018. We updated in 2022 as required. After 2022, it became apparent that we did not have to have our own plan. That even though we have a bunch of subrecipients, we could join the New York State plan, DOT plan. And we found out that all the other counties in the state were part of the New York State DOT plan. It also, so we decided as to save on administration on our side to join the New York State plan. It also streamlines the National Transit Database reporting, which is the NTD reporting you may hear us throw around, which is what drives the funding. or helps to drive the funding. So we are, one of the requirements is that the transit agencies to inform the transportation council that our plan is done. And in this case, we're letting everyone know that we've joined the New York State. So that's a successful update.
Okay. Rob, thank you. It's progress. Okay. All right, our next OCTC meeting dates for reference, we have October 8th and December 3rd. The next two meetings will both be here at the Legislative Statutory Committee Room, 255 Main Street, Goshen, New York. And as we get closer to the meeting, we'll have the material passed out to you. Unless anyone wants to stay for the rest of the afternoon, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I didn't get that fast enough. That's Tony.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone joining us online.
I'll do it like an hour later.
Like very good.
Thanks, man. That's okay. Good fun.
Yeah, sorry.